7 o'clock, October 22nd, 2024, call the meeting recorded. Item number 1 is minutes of October 8th.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of October 8, 2024 Selectmen's meeting. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 401. Who was it? Number 2 is the warrants.
Make a motion to sign the warrants.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Number 3 is public discussion on ATV road access. And I presume that's why we're all here tonight. There are maps. These highlighted areas, I don't know a lot about this, I thought somebody from the ATV club would be here. But...
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Didn't recognize it. These highlighted areas are roads that have been asked
Okay.
to be ATV, allowed ATV driving on them. And is there any comments, questions?
Who asked?
The people who live on them, I believe.
Yeah, residents from the town.
So residents, does that include, and I can't tell because it's not marked, is that Randall Street? Is that Randall Street?
All the in-town roads will be on it, yes. Because they're gonna have access to get down to,
Okay, so
like
some of them aren't yellow, so that's what I was, but,
right. But because it's so closely knit, you're gonna probably, feed them down Randall Street, I would think. Really depending where they're coming from.
so who's the person who asked for the, so all of the roads, not just the ones that are highlighted in yellow?
Right, most likely, from what I've been hearing, most likely your residents want to be able to have access to the ATV trails. And to get to that, really depending where they live. So this is really what this meeting's about. This isn't actually set in stone by any means. You can have residents that can come in and say, I don't see my road on it, or I'd like to have access from this road. Maybe the town decides to vote to allow all town roads to be accessed. A lot of your towns are doing that now. So I guess this is really just the start of it. For me to be able to get it onto the warrant for town meeting vote, this needs to start now. So this is what this is. This is really just an informational meeting. If anybody has any requests or opposes anything, this is where they should be saying it so we know what we're putting out for town meeting vote.
I have a question. So all these dirt roads that are now highlighted, who's splitting the bill to repair those when the UTVs are destroying them daily and every weekend?
Who's
You know,
repairing them now?
Yeah, like who's paying for that?
Well,
Like as it is, we're already paying to fix them with just car traffic. Now we're asking to double that. I live on Town Farm Road. As it is, Artie tries to do his best, but that road washes out faster than he can put dirt down. You're gonna put ATVs on it now?
Good
With
question.
mud tires?
I have a similar question.
we feel the same.
About like dust and stuff in the summertime. I'm not against the idea, but I have questions like, are we gonna budget money to maintain the road better so that we can handle that much more traffic?
I guess I would.
Does Artie want to speak to that? or-
Well, if we do,
Well, hold on.
okay,
Go ahead,
if we do, townspeople okay it, then there will have to be more for dust control.
I would certainly.
Because granted, there's gonna be more traffic on there than the citizens who live there with vehicles and one or two other people might go around there. So, yeah, there's gonna have to be some extra money raised for dust control, and whether some of it comes from ATV club, that's stuff that's gonna have to be hashed
And it's
out.
something that should be considered. I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably a decent idea for the people to be able to get access. I would personally ride on the roads if it was like, if it wasn't against the law. I'd be in favor of it, but I definitely want to have some funding to, I mean, as it was this summer, we couldn't keep our windows open. It was so dusty.
I live on the, where I've gone over to the track, and there were days on some of the weekends when the traffic was pretty heavy on the trail, and you couldn't go outdoors. I mean, it was a fog of dirt, dust, like.
Okay, got somebody over here.
I'm just curious, I'm not aware of any trail heads anywhere at the end of some of these roads. So it seems to me that this is more of a out there to town situation. So I'm just curious why we all think there's gonna be a great increase in traffic. It's not like we're gonna have people coming from Oakland going out to 4 Mile Square to turn around and come back. We're talking 4 Mile Square people coming to town to hit the rail trail. So yeah, there will be a slight increase in traffic, but not,
Well, what if there ain't no
What's
place to
gonna stop
park
them?
around town and they park out on the 4 Mile Square Road?
well, and you've got some people who know the town.
I'm just,
I,
they park anywhere.
but there's no parking area in 4 Mile Square. We're not talking about there's a huge parking lot out there that people are gonna park on.
Right, this is mainly.
It's residents coming into town so that they don't have to trailer from their home to the, out to Casey's.
Correct.
Byron.
Who's gonna stop the outsiders from coming in and just playing on this playground here?
Well, I
mean,
believe he kind of touched
A
on
lot of
that.
people come up from
Well, if this
North
becomes, if these, we open up these roads, they're open not only to Anson residents.
for all, everybody.
They're open to everybody.
But there'll be no reason for them to go on
Yeah,
them.
but all it takes is one person not paying attention to road signs to follow
But
somebody around.
I would assume that there would be signage, and they would see that, well, if I go up this road, it's not taking me anywhere.
But what you're saying is, someone that's riding the four-wheeler trail, the rail bed, comes up to Anson and wants to go to Arnold's house, or wants to go see Joe out on the 4 Mile Square Road.
Yeah,
They're gonna go.
sure.
And you're gonna have an increase, what they're saying is you're gonna have an increase of traffic.
But in reality, how many people, I'm not saying there's not gonna be an increase in traffic, I think we all agree there will be. But are we really assuming that we're gonna have 1,500 to 2,000 more vehicles on the road a year? Up and down these roads? I don't see it.
Even 20 a week.
Yeah, even 20 a
Come
week.
springtime, it's the ruts. These are mud tires, not street tires.
But
But we're talking hard packed gravel roads, we're not, I mean, sure, maybe put a rule, if you had a week straight of rain, the roads were muddy, you don't travel on the roads, but.
the trails don't open till after a certain time, till usually when mud season's over. So your trails are not gonna be open during mud season. They're just not, the main trail is
Town
not
Farm Road
open
in
during mud
July.
season.
Just a minute, just a minute.
But they were running this year before it was open.
I know, somebody else was talking, I didn't want to interrupt. Who's gonna be responsible for the safety? I'm assuming that there would be a speed limit. Who's gonna be responsible for,
Sheriff's Department.
They don't do it now.
they don't do it now?
Well, that's not our problem.
So I have
That's
a
the
question,
sheriff's
I have a
problem.
question, a couple of questions actually. What is the state doing as far as their roads? I mean, if we're opening 4 Mile Square, are people gonna be able to come down 234?
We would have to apply to be able to go down that
Okay,
road.
so that may not even happen.
Correct. Mostly, likely, the state is going to open the roads up. They've opened them in most of the towns. Your Bingham, your Lexington, everybody has it going. I guess the club gentleman, if he wants to speak on it, they just did it in Madison. Those roads are all opening up and they're coming down across.
So another question is insurance. I mean, what happens when one of those ATVs hit my car?
Good point.
You know, I mean, or whatever the incident is. I mean, are they being required to have insurance going down the roads by the state?
They are not now. The state does not require your ATVs to be insured. I will say though, if you actually see most of your side-by-sides that are out there, these people have
But that's the
insurance.
problem most,
Well,
I see
you're-
that as a major issue. I
Right.
mean, there again, I have no problem with it happening,
But that's a state
But-
thing, that's not.
but as far as insurance is concerned, it's something that the state's gonna have to deal with.
Insurance?
Because we're gonna, if it's a vehicle on the road,
The insurance on an ATV is covered by your homeowner's insurance.
it's covered by your homeowner's insurance.
Correct.
I have a separate policy for my insurance,
Kind of additional.
And clubs have insurance, too.
They've gone and got loans on them and everything, they're required for insurance. It would probably be more your older ones that aren't covering my insurance, we can't police what the state needs to. If the state needs to change something on the legislature, they would have to do that. All these towns are in the same boat. They're gonna cross through your town anyways, so they're doing it now. Your insurance requirements are not something the state is mandating yet. They may, the bigger this gets, they may require that.
Well, I'm just bringing it up because that is a major issue as far as I'm concerned. The ATVs being on the road, the ones that do not have insurance, and I understand there's people that don't have insurance, but the ATVs that are on the road that do not have insurance, going down the major roads at the speed limit of the road, which many of them can and do. Who's paying the cost when those ATVs hit things, people?
That would be a state question. The state is not mandating.
Correct.
The state mandates any DMV to require insurance.
I
The
just
state does not mandate when you register an ATV, that we need to see insurance.
I understand.
Will that change? Probably, yes.
I understand that. But I want the question out there for everybody to be thinking about when they go to agree to do this for all of our roads. All of a sudden, we have a whole bunch of uninsured vehicles on our roads. And there again, I don't care one way or the other. I have ATVs, I probably wouldn't use them on the road, but I just want it to be out there that we're gonna have a lot of uninsured vehicles on the road. And there's gonna be a lot of accidents.
Makes a lot of sense.
I have two questions here, so one is, I want to know what access means, because if the road, if you can access, if the road is identified as being one that has access for ATVs, do you really have to be going somewhere to use the road? Or just because you have an ATV and that road is accessible, you can go up and down the road just because that's sort of fun. I mean, I don't know why that's fun, but some people clearly do, because I see people doing that. And secondly, this is all very interesting to me, but what about the drivers? Do they have to be licensed?
You do not have to be licensed.
So they're gonna be able
to
to
drive an ATV.
take a vehicle that can travel at speeds of up to something equivalent to what you use on these secondary and tertiary roads, right? And you don't have to be a licensed driver to do that. And what is the age for someone being able to use it?
There is an age on
There is an age that you have.
Which is what?
I believe 16.
So 16, an unlicensed, a 16-year-old who's an unlicensed driver can drive an ATV on these roads.
I believe with an adult, so I have to double check that. And I believe you have to take course.
You have to take four, right?
My kids had to take
Does
course.
our ATV guy know these answers?
I don't think they can ride on the tar roads,
As far as-
minors,
Minors under 18, under 16, under 21, or
under 18, I think.
under 18, they cannot drive on tarred roads,
No,
but they could ride on
trails.
trails, but what about dirt roads? And how does anybody check on that? Because, I mean, I'm sure that everybody here who uses an ATV does it very, very well, and does it very considerably, I'm sure. And I really, I see people using the trails, I think that's great. I'm often walking on the trails or on the bridge, and people are often very courteous when I'm walking and slowing down and doing that. But, there are others who aren't in this room who may not be that good. So anyway, so you've got, it's really curious to me that you could put somebody in a motorized vehicle on the road who's not a licensed driver.
Or insurance.
For sure.
Well, and you're kind
Or
of,
insured. And the vehicle doesn't have to be registered. Or do they have to be registered?
and your snowmobiles, and I'm not gonna hit on snowmobile clubs, but they're doing the same thing. If they have to go down the road to hit the trail, there is no guarantee that that snowmobile's insured. There's no guarantee that you have a
Correct.
license for that. Is it supposed to be registered? Yeah, so, yes, they're all good questions, but a lot of this stuff has been happening for a very, very, very long time. And sometimes you're better off to mandate things than you are to just let everybody do it, because I'm telling you, people are they're running the ATVs now.
We know.
I'd like to
But I mean-
that
familiar with the other towns that have opened it up? Are they having issues since they've opened it?
I'm sure everybody's has some sort of issues.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
personally.
would this be like a 24-hour a day thing where people can go by all hours of the night?
They do now.
Yeah, and they could go on the trails now anytime.
Yeah, but I'm just concerned with
The town could curfew the town roads, and then, you know, I mean, the trail would be state, but if the town said 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock,
I mean, does Anson even have quiet hours? Because I know those exhausts are not stopping on all those UTVs.
I think Anson's is quiet hours are after 10.
I just think we would have a hard time enforcing that. I don't know how you would enforce that. And just say somebody, I'm just gonna give you an example. Someone's out ATVing for the day and they've gotten lost and they're trying to get home and it's a lot later than they thought. Are you gonna have a problem with them actually trying to get home and it's past 8 o'clock? I mean, I just think there's a whole, there's always things that
Well,
happen.
you can put out the restriction, but understand that things happen. I mean, things happen. But you can put out the restriction.
And your ATVs, remember, in the summertime too,
Right.
it's, see,
Couldn't
it's,
go to 9:30
Right.
at daylight. We had a lady back here.
Yes. For 49 years, the Snowmobile Club has been maintaining the snowmobile trails. And as of last year, I think it was 66 miles. They have been doing it themselves. The town has not been maintaining them. And I think that if we're going to have ATV clubs, the money that we get from their registrations should go back to them, and they should be doing the maintaining, not the town of Anson.
the town of Anson actually isn't paying to maintain it. That's been done with a grant.
No, but the point is, that trail gets really messed up. I mean, we've had,
It's a state trail though, it won't be a club trail. That's never gonna, that main trail is never gonna be a club trail. That is actually a state trail.
You're
So
referring
it
to
wouldn't be
the
even the
railroad
club to maintain it. They can help out, but it would be the state maintaining
okay,
it.
but the thing is, that was part of the snowmobile trail. So where do you get these two
I
meshed
think
together?
If you're talking the railroad bed, the snowmobile club probably dragged it and groomed it because that was their main access to get to the smaller trails, if I remember right. So they were grooming it, but they were never, it was still always state owned.
No, yeah, but they maintain it. They brought in rock when they need to have rock filled in and whatnot. We saw them right by us, so.
I think the snowmobile club gets reimbursement from the state for dragging that railroad bed because they have to keep track of their mileage of the railroad bed if it's a snowmobile trail in the wintertime.
They get some of
They get
the
some type of
registration fees, but it goes back to the snowmobile club, yes, for grooming though.
Right.
So why couldn't the ATV club be doing the same thing?
Because they don't own it.
Well, neither do the snowmobile
Do we
club.
have an ATV?
And I think.
And the snowmobile club has to get permission from the landowners.
That's Madison.
Are the ATV
Yes,
people
Is
getting
it Madison?
access
Pretty sure.
to those trails?
Not to the
Not the, not the
This is
snowmobile
a
trails.
thing that hasn't been worked together.
The ATV club only has access on the rail bed from from down here to Solon. Only the rail bed. There's no side trails in the town of Anson off the rail bed for the ATVs.
Yes,
There's a
there
lot
is.
more
Is there
snowmobile
not?
trails.
There's one that goes out towards Hilton Hill.
Oh, yeah, is that open now though?
We are looking to get eventually down the Holland Waite Road,
Right.
once we get access
I knew that there was a trail, but. I didn't
towards
know.
New Vineyard.
Yeah.
That's what the goal is.
But that would make one side trail off the rail bed.
Well, we're trying to get the other ways too, but
As of right now though, is what I'm saying.
and there's a new club supposed to be opening up in Lexington, Pleasant Ridge.
Mhm.
that's all separate landowner permission
Yeah.
compared to the snowmobile clubs. They don't, just because there's a snowmobile club trail, that doesn't automatically mean the ATVs can go on it.
Yeah.
I think that might be.
No, they're thinking of opening an ATV club up there.
There's a lot more snowmobile trails off of this main trail than there is any ATV.
Right, I
Because
think-
he's right,
I think
there's
that's my
one
point.
that comes off it. So there's not, the snowmobile trail is grooming that to get to all their little trails to get to the other towns. Your ATV only has one trail, I believe from Hilton Hill somewhere
Right,
around there, coming down to town.
I believe the
That is
ATV
it.
club would be responsible for maintaining that
That
trail.
trail.
Yeah.
But the rail bed would still be a state-maintained trail
Yeah.
because
Correct.
that's state only.
We
Okay,
just
but
go
you're
out
saying
and,
state maintained. Who is the state?
Inland fisheries or
Right.
something.
We don't have a
Parks
state
and
crew
Rec.
that's coming through here.
No, that's why they're doing grants, that's why they have me fill out the grants, and that's why you see Anson Highway out there doing it, because they're paying for it through the grant fund. They're not
No,
paying
the
it
highway
through the tax
department ought to be
money.
doing highway funds, highway work, not doing all this other little stuff.
Well, it's money that benefits the town. It's not just,
getting the
because
ball rolling.
they get paid by that grant for the time that they put in. on
Oh, yeah, I'm
the
not-
trails
I'm
and
not
stuff.
saying-
So
it's
it's
just-
to our benefit that they do it.
we had to start somewhere. I mean,
There's no question of.
So would the four-wheelers and TVs follow the same laws that the automobiles do?
Absolutely.
If they're on,
Yeah, but they're not allowed to
Public
drive 50,
roads.
60 miles an hour on a
Right.
highway.
right, if they're on public roads and
Supposed to be
and
set
the
at a-
So there
sheriff's
can be
department
speed
catches them.
limits put up, there's gonna be signage every so far, ATV access. It's gonna tell you if there's, like a dead end, what road this goes to. There's certain, you have to have so many signs, I don't know how many feet apart, type
I
thing,
couldn't tell you right
to be
now.
able to give everybody where they're going. So that's really what it is. I mean, if you go up like Bingham Way, you're going up the rail bed, you're cutting across the trail and you're riding that right down the main road on the side of it, all the way down through. If you go up to the Lexington and stuff, you're doing a lot of riding on the roads up there. It's really access to get to the trails. There are a lot of trails, like when you get up to Bingham to go to the windmills and all that stuff, but you gotta be able to get there, to be able to get off from the main trail to do it.
And I think that needs to be a stipulation, that it's access to the trails.
Right,
The reason you're on the road is to access to a trail,
right.
not to go from Joe and Mary's house.
Yeah.
It's to go to the trails.
I still think it's a big safety issue because most ATVs and four-wheelers, they're ATVs for a reason. They're not supposed to be on the tar. I know that when I go 35, 40 miles in my ATV, it starts getting really shaky. It's just not a good idea. It's not safe. It's not safe for other people. It's not safe for the operator. It's just not safe.
So most of the towns I've driven through have limited ATV access to 25 miles an hour.
Right.
Do they do 25?
But who enforces that?
Do you do 50 and a 50, you know, do you do 45 and a 50? I mean, you can argue this for cars, trucks, ATVs, snowmobiles.
I can vouch up past my main street.
Yeah,
You
I mean-
go, anything else now.
And you see that, as good stewards, whether we're ATVers or landowners, we need to call police and say, hey,
Oh,
we've done that many times on horseback, and they come down there and flying.
yeah. I don't, you know, I personally, my ATV, I'm not happy if it's over 35, because like you say, it starts to get squirrely unless you're on a really good trail.
Everybody gets squirrely on the horseback.
It's a squirrely road.
Mr. Lehman. Another comment, there's a lot of things being talked about, issues and such. A lot of it doesn't sound like a town problem. A lot of it sounds like sheriff's department not necessarily doing their job, people not riding responsibly. If we're gonna limit access to four-wheelers and other ATVs on the roads for those reasons, well, we should just start limiting it for our vehicles as well, because people are breaking the same laws as ATV riders on the same roads, but nobody has a problem with that.
Car drivers are insured, like Mr. Smith said.
And I'm insured too, because I have to have a standalone policy for my side-by-side.
Okay.
So, I mean, so I can't ride on the road because somebody else doesn't have insurance? I'm doing my part, I'm following the laws, I'm driving responsibly, I'm doing the speed limit or under, but I can't ride on it because some yahoo might be out there ripping it up, and, I mean, that's not the town's responsibility to make sure that everybody's insured or following the traffic laws. That's the state and the sheriff's department's responsibility for doing their patrols. And like he said, if we see people racing up and down the road, well, then it's our responsibility to say, hey, sheriff's department, I got an ATV that's racing up and down the road here. Maybe you should come out and take a look. But we shouldn't limit our access for those reasons. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it also doesn't make sense to put more of a burden on the sheriff's department, because they're understaffed as it is now. And if I see somebody speeding up the road and I call the sheriff's department, that car is long gone. I mean, they're not even gonna bother.
I understand that the sheriff's department's understaffed, but I don't, that's their job, is to do that kind of stuff. And frankly, anybody who's gonna break the law on an open road for ATVs is gonna break it on a closed road for ATVs. So if we're not seeing a huge problem now, I don't foresee us seeing a huge problem once the roads are open.
Well, we are, because we're actually opening up a can of worms if we do this. There's a big can of worms.
I respectfully disagree with you, because
I don't think Greenville and huge tourist places, I mean, we've been to Greenville on the side-by-sides, and you don't see people pulled over. I mean, there was, in the summertime, it's like at least as many ATVs as there is regular cars, and it's like the whole town is open, you see them parked, eating, this and that. Everybody seems to be cohabitating.
Jackman's the same way. A lot of people ride their side-by-sides to work in Jackman.
Similar, right there on 201.
They're different than Anson.
How?
Lexington is different. There's nothing up there.
I would argue there's not much more here.
They make a lot of money because they're selling
By our
around.
property, do you know how much road?
I would argue with you that Greenville, as far as things in the town, there's more in Greenville than there is in the town of Anson.
This here is the whole town of Anson's playground.
Yes, sir. To not distract from the topic, because it's a valid point, but to get closer to things that might be in our control, and that is the fringes of our town, the speed limits. 201A, heading towards Emden, from basically the CMP corridor up until after the residences. That's all 50 miles an hour there. And I've spoken a few times at different town meetings to ask them, and I've contacted the DOT, and I've also contacted the town to lower that speed limit, or at least, you know, the only thing now goes from 55 to a sign 100 feet before the pole lines that says speed ahead 25. And that's the only gradual slowdown. If we're gonna be having more snowmobiles that are coming off from these side roads and so on to cut across 201.
Your snowmobiles are not using.
Or not snowmobiles, ATVs, excuse me. But to have ATVs coming off the dirt roads, you know, going down through the post office along the river that way, and then coming out up, you know, a mile up past where the speed limit's 55. There needs to be, for safety reasons, because there's gonna be deaths. Just that simple. I'm not trying to exaggerate the situation. The speed needs to be lowered down a little further out of town.
Are you talking 201A up by Matless?
Yes.
That's a state road, the ATVs aren't gonna be on it.
I know the urban compact is right.
That's still a state road from Solon all the way down through to the Madison, Anson, from there to Skowhegan. That's all state.
One conversation at a time, please.
That's all state road there, the town has nothing to do with that, as far as speed limits or anything. Even though it goes through the town of Anson, that's still a DOT road, they're the ones that control the speed limits.
Is there any place that can be, just, that this subject can be discussed?
Well, it will, through the town, no, it's gotta be through DOT, you'd have to get in touch with the Dixfield office,
I've called them twice.
but that's the route you'd have to go, is call the Dixfield office and let them know your concerns.
And
And
interestingly
then they'll send
enough,
somebody out and they'll do a traffic study and all that.
So it's already been mentioned that we need to deal with some of these problems through signage.
Right.
You know, ATVs are 25 miles an hour, no matter where they are, at a maximum, that type of thing.
And on a state-
Whether it's 25 or not, I'm just using it as an example, but once they're on a open access on a road, then there needs to be signage for the ATVs, or this is their maximum.
And that's-
Now, are they gonna go faster? Probably, but there again, that's up to the residents that see it and the sheriff's department.
And they do require, like on a state road, I think it was, in a mile, you had to have 10 signs, 5 in
Right,
each
there's so
direction.
many signs.
And then on town roads, it wasn't that many, but they still required so many signs on the town road. So people wasn't driving around to see where they had to go. They had a sign telling them where they was going and speed limits and all that.
I do have a few emails that people sent in, so I'll read them because I told them that I would. So the first one is from a Mr. McCoy. My name is Mr. McCoy and my wife are all for ATV access. We would probably spend more money in Anson. Instead, we have to go all the way to Bingham to access the trails. We are at 178 Carbassett Road. I don't see our road on the list, would like to have it added, so Route 234 has some access to the trails. Sure, there are other accesses for snowmobiles, but ATVs have no access to the trails from the Carbassett Road. This is from a Mr. Augustine. No ATV should not have access to any of our roads, only trails, they are all ATVs, not a motor vehicle. This is a Miss Daigle. I would like to be able to drive my ATV from my address to the APD trail located at Casey's. And this is a Miss Fluid at 25 Parkwoods Drive in Anson, and I would love to be able to go on a side road to be able to hit the trail at Casey's Market. And I know there is, you know, you're talking about Greenville and Bingham and everything, but you do have a couple businesses in this town that actually would probably benefit very, very highly on them. I know if you go by Casey's Market, that's why they allow everybody to park there, because they're getting business from all those people parking there. That's why the state did the park and ride up in North Anson, so people had a place to go up in North Anson and they hit the trail for a park and ride. And right now, they can actually get to Vitmere's without having to get access on that town road. They can already do it because it's within the legal limit. So I understand what you guys are all saying and concerned about, and you should be, but they can actually already go down the road to go to Vitmere's. So you're already putting all those ATVs right there to go get gas, to go get food. They don't have to have access because they're within the
50.
legal feet to go to it. So they're already really gonna be hitting your roads. This really is for your residents to be able to get to the trail. Those people that are trailering up to North Anson or Casey's, they're hitting the trail. They're buying their gas and everything, and they're going. Your residents in town can't get to it because they got a trail on there somehow.
Tammy, do we know how many registered ATV owners are in Anson?
Well, I can tell you right now, I ran out of stickers 3 times this year.
For just Anson?
Just this year. I do not have the number until the end of the year. But usually they send me, maybe 150 stickers, and they had to keep sending them and sending them and sending them. So there is a huge increase. People are buying the big side-by-sides and everything, and if you look at them, their families are on them. They're gonna cross the main road anyways. They are gonna cross that main road because they have access to do so. So I do understand the fear and the safety and everything, but they already have the access to cross your main roads right there. So that's already opened up. It's really opening up your side roads and stuff for your residents to be able to get to the trail. It's not really, not that people can't go on it, but that's really what this would be doing, is to be able to get them to be able to get to the trail without trailing.
We could also alleviate some of the people's concern about people from out of the area taking some of these roads to places. We could also have signage at the beginning of these roads that say, no trail access beyond this point, or something to that effect.
Local residents.
Local residents only, or something, so that people from out of the area can see that sign and say, okay, well, there's no reason for me to go out there, because it doesn't lead anywhere. And then that really does, for as best as the town can do, limit only residents coming into town and going home from town.
That's sensible people.
Well, you're always gonna have unreasonable people, so. And you can't fight those, you'll be fighting them all the time.
Are any of the other towns giving the clubs the money that they're getting from registration right now?
That's state. State
Yeah,
can only do
that's only
that, no
state.
town, has nothing to do with the town. The town gets $2 from the registration. Those registration fees all go to the state, and then the state actually, like the snowmobile club will give it to the snowmobile club for grooming. Your ATV clubs, they do get some, but not a lot from what I know. That may change at some point, but right now, that's all state. That has nothing to do with the town.
Okay, so something has to pass at the state level to allocate that money back to the clubs.
The thing's gonna be the gas tax, that snowmobiles get money from the gas tax. We're gonna get a percentage of that for the clubs. Eventually.
I was just thinking of the signage.
Well, and unfortunately, the ATV grants cannot help with the signage. Now, in Madison, they did have a bunch of businesses that sponsored
Yeah, donated.
for the signs. So, I mean, that can be looked at too. And
And you gotta remember, most ATV owners, there again, there's the exception. Most ATV owners want to be out ATVing. It's not like they wanna be on the roads. The roads are not that comfortable with those knobby tires. So, other than the exceptions, most are gonna wanna get to the trails to go ATVing. You know, and there is the exceptions, you know, and there was the exceptions with the snowmobiles when they first came out. There was exceptions with the Jeeps that go in groups, that go on all the back roads. I know, you know, and I know, and, you know, it's just what it is. And we have to allow it in order to be able to know how to control it. And just like the snowmobiles, I do not allow ATVs on my property, but I do allow snowmobiles. And I have my reasons. I have a lot of fur, a lot of dead fur. And all it takes is one cigarette flipped out in the summertime. And my forest goes up because it's that dead. So I don't allow ATVs on it. But summertime, snowmobiles are fine. And it wasn't too many years ago that I didn't allow snowmobiles, but they have proven themselves. And we have to understand that the same thing's happening with ATVs. They will have their trails, but it's gonna take some time. And you know, whether we allow it or not, that's up to the town, that's up to the town meetings. But we need information, and that's what this meeting is about, a beginning of that information.
And the other piece of that is the footage or the right-of-way from a state trail. So right now, all your ATVers can go to Casey's, they can go to Kennebec Cafe, and they can go to this little restaurant down here. So where's that putting them? That's putting them all on your main road without having to go get any permission from the town. They can already do that, and they're going to do it. You can see, they're doing it now. So they're already allowed to do that. This really is to get your residents to be able to get to your trails.
Is this for the winter months too? Is it some cutoff or?
What you say?
Does this go on in the winter time too?
ATVs?
No.
When does it start?
The end of
Memorial Weekend usually it opens.
Starts and when's it start?
end of October.
Most of them are closing like right now
Right now.
and for hunting season.
Yeah.
But this rail trail is gonna stay open until first snow or December. But it'll just be from Bingham to, like Winslow.
Another thing is, the more traffic we get in the town, the more seasonal businesses we'll have. When we already have an ice cream shack up here, at the end of Preble Avenue, there'll be other businesses, as they see the extra traffic, there'll be other businesses. Maybe Casey will actually put in gas, that'd be awesome. Because gas is hard to find if you're a snowmobile or ATV, and you know that.
That's his plan, that's what he's opened up that back for,
Right,
is
it's
to
been planned
eventually
for a
put
long
pumps
time,
in
but
there.
the ATVs is, ATVs and snowmobiles now, it's gonna be a benefit. It will be a benefit. It's gonna take some time.
Yeah, they don't use that much gas anyway.
Oh, yeah.
What is it on a gallon of gas?
Well, it depends on how far you go. Oh, where you're coming from. You're coming from Oakland, and you're coming from other places. You need a place to get gas, right there at Casey's. Anyway, still,
Kind of mileage.
I'm actually in North Anson, across from Mattingers. And I've recently been approved for a subdivision where I'm putting in Airbnb cabins along IDS 84. And this whole concept of the town being ATV friendly will definitely,
there you go.
it'll be a benefit to, and I mean, the folks that'll be leaving my property, they won't need to access any roads because it's right there on that, on the railroad bed. But, you know, maybe they'll want to, if that place near the post office opens up and turns into a restaurant or a pub or whatnot in North Anson, they may want to be able to go grab a sandwich or, you know, watch a game or something at that pub, and it's just right down the road.
So there are positives
Yes.
here, not just the negatives. And we've talked a lot about the negatives, which we need to, definitely need to. But we need to talk about the positives too, because it can benefit the town.
Just one more point, I'm sorry, but I would also argue that most responsible riders don't want to lose their privileges. So they're not going to be tearing up and down dirt roads, making a mess out of them. They're going to drive to their trail, get on their trail and go. It's going to be your unreasonable, your young kids, you know, everybody knows that's going to be the problem, and you can't, you're not going to fight them anyway because they're going to do it whether you make it legal or not. So, but you know,
Yeah, look at the roads with the rubber marks on the road, you know, you see it some places, the entire road is covered with rubber.
Right.
You know, I mean, you get those.
And that ain't you, me, and everybody here probably, it's kids.
You see no rubber out front of my door. I do it at the end of the road, no.
I would just say that
That's right.
the majority probably that you're gonna find are just people who are driving like normal people, just get to their trail, not trying to cause a problem, don't want the privileges taken away, so.
I think if it got kept to residents only, you know, and just have it be like that, then half of these people would be okay with that. I think it's the increase, they're thinking increase of people riding a 4-mile square road and just doing laps.
Oh, I can understand that.
You know, and I think that's what a lot of the concern is.
Yep.
Is that if we could just keep it to our residents and it's open.
I don't know how you would have.
But then
I think we could make a good racetrack out of the town farm road, but, you know, that'd be awesome.
What would you do then if you had a through trail, let's say went from Anson to New Vineyard? And, you know, there might be people that come from down south that want to take
If it was an ATV trail, then I think you'd be good.
Well, like right now, you got Hilton Hill.
Right.
That connects over across Hall Lake. Now you have to open up Hall Lake to non-resident, because that might connect to a trail in the vineyard that we want
But
to.
that comes down to signage.
Right, sign.
Difficult.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what we're talking about. This thing will expand, it will benefit the town, and there are a lot of what-ifs that we're gonna come up against, but we have to come up against them as they come. And this is our first step, right here.
So are you guys gonna have an action plan for the people that aren't so happy about this, that start doing things to the roads? You know, like we've had this problem before with the rail bed already, where up in Greenville, they were cutting trees across their roads. Like as a firefighter now, I have to go out and take care of a tree if the landowner's pissed because a side-by-side went by his house. You see what I'm saying? Are you guys prepared for
Well, I don't think
homeowners that aren't here?
Christian, I don't think us as a fire department have to go clean up the rail bed.
Right.
No, I'm talking about our roads. Like there's still
Well,
gonna
if
be
somebody cuts a
vandals.
tree across the road, that's not a,
That's what I'm asking. Are we prepared for the?
do you
people that are
honestly
gonna get
think
upset
somebody's
about
gonna
that?
cut a tree across a town road because an ATV's driving?
I'm saying that there's
There's
people
no
that could
way.
be upset enough to try to do something.
There's no way somebody would do that. Cut a tree across a town-maintained road because an ATV's driving on it? No way. No way.
Okay, this gentleman wants to.
Just a suggestion, you talk about signage and safety. Over by the ice cream, that seasonal ice cream place where that road crossing is, there should be an indicator where the ATVs and something blinking to let both parties know there's gonna be traffic.
Well, I don't think we could get an indicator, weren't they gonna put, I thought they were gonna put a gate to slow it down off from Preble Ave.
That definitely should happen.
That's what I
Or something
thought.
like that, because
Because there's not a gate there,
No,
but there
right.
should be a gate there.
you really gotta be aware of who's coming.
The only reason, it's a kind of double-edged sword on it, because honestly, last year with the big flood, we didn't have access to get up to Northampton, and I'm gonna tell you, people had to use that trail to get up there and back.
Well,
So,
that's.
so
Yeah.
if you put a gate too close and your emergency people needed to use that, then probably not gonna be able to get through it.
Yeah,
So,
but this,
There's lighting that you.
they open it up, opening gates, I mean, you make the post wide enough so a fire truck can get through it.
Yeah.
But you make the gate itself so that it closes up whatever the regulation of an ATV is. Emily does.
they did talk about putting a gate there, and there was another place they were gonna.
There's some more up towards Camden, we got much
Yeah.
more.
Well, some of the rail trails have actually blinking lights that's motion detected. As a bicyclist comes up, the lights blink to let people know, slow down, there's bicycles here. And stop.
Stop sign, then.
Wouldn't that be like a station?
Yeah.
But signage would be nice, not just on the ATV trail, but on
Both
the
sides.
Preble Avenue ATV trail, just like there is snowmobile trail signs.
Yep.
It'd be nice
Very
to
dangerous
have
intersection.
on some of the places, not just there, but there's other.
But you don't have a light on the main drag in Madison, correct?
Well, there should be one over there too.
Ellen,
I have a question on the Hilton Hill Road. Last time I was there, the road ended at somebody's driveway. And this looks like it's going past that.
There's a trail there.
There's a trail down at the end of the road.
There's a trail at the end of Hilton.
There's a current trail that goes past their house.
Well, I guess you could speak to it better
Down
than
at
me
the
did.
bottom of the, you go over the hill and then down,
Yeah.
and then there's a, used to be like a state road or something, a long time ago. Yeah, and it goes, if it goes this way, it goes to a couple sand pits and it comes out by, the power lines. And then if you go the other way,
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking Hilton Hill Road.
It goes,
I'm talking here.
100 years ago, it went all the way through to the Smith Road. Whatever.
And I don't know where the
Trail
bottom
goes
part
from
is.
there.
Is that the bottom part you were talking about?
Sorry.
The same road right there next to it.
There's a house here.
yeah,
Down
this comes down
all the way to the past cross, Old County Road.
that's the trail we have now.
Okay.
And it goes all the way to here, and we can't get here because we need road access.
Okay.
Because we have another trail,
So we had another.
we have another trail here, and it goes all the way up to here.
Yeah, so
And we
I
can't
just,
connect them because of this road
very,
here.
first of all, it's clear that a lot of people enjoy
Kind of shows
ATVs.
his
very clear. And it's, you know, you
Does
see
that go by?
clearly there's also been a lot more traffic on all the roads. A lot of more vehicles are there. And there's going to be some people who are going to be
Because
riding.
I've always stopped right here.
Let's keep the other conversations a little lower, please.
Is this dirt
So
and this dirt?
that, and just saying, well, the police need to do their jobs. Well, you're increasing the amount of work for all of the service groups that are involved. You've got to realize that. So that's coming at an expense. It sounds to me, what I'm hearing is that signage would be the responsibility of the town. So that's something we have to think about doing. I've already spoken to Ken about my concern at the bottom of Randall Street, going across to the old trestle bridge, part of it, that in the summertime, which is when the ATVs are, there's a very bad curve that you can't see, it's sort of blind. So, and the traffic is not going 25 miles an hour very often, and it's really tricky. And there's also the crossing for the ATVs there. So some sort of signage there to indicate that there is some traffic going across there, I think would be very important. And in terms of people, the comment that it's the bad actors and it's you know, there's a behavior amongst younger people that can be problematic, and for people who just don't care. And the idea of saying, well, we've all got to do our part and call the police ourselves. I don't know how comfortable I am calling about reporting people near me about what they're doing when I am vulnerable to people who have already demonstrated that they do not behave very well. So that's, you've got to be somewhat realistic here. So there may be, I agree that this could be very beneficial economically for businesses. I mean, I can see it. I walk around a lot, and I see it at various places where there's more business there, and that's great, and it could increase that. But it's also going to come at some costs that people are going to have to identify and figure out how to pay for, or for these things to be safe and to be fair for all of these things. So I'm very glad that Tammy's gathering this information, and think of the work that Tammy's going to have to do between now and writing these various things for town meeting. But there's a lot to be considered here in terms of who goes there, and it's a lot of aspects of this that I walk along that trail and I think, well, I'm glad I don't have a house that butts up against this trail.
But that's the other piece that, like right now, they can go by your house and not have to have access. They can already do it because it's within a certain distance from that trail. So instead of not giving them the signage of where to go, they can just go from this side street to this, almost all those side streets over there by Casey's have access to drive down to get to the trail without any permission whatsoever. And same as part of Preble Ave, all those houses along there actually already have the right to run down that road and get onto the trail. The only thing that this might help with is that you're gonna put signs out saying, go this way, this is access, instead of them going all over the place. It would actually probably route them more onto where you would want them to go.
So this is, you gotta remember, this is a beginning. This is a beginning of a conversation that we'd like to have ended at the town meeting in March, April. But there's a lot of information that we need, and Tammy could use some help. I mean, if you know people, we have ATV guys here, look up the rules, look up the regulations, see what we can do. Can we get some grants for signage? I mean,
No, I already know that.
well,
I would have already done it.
maybe this, I know that for the Spider that I just bought, my wife got a discount on her license because Can-Am paid for it. So is there ATV companies that might help us out with some signage? Is there something they're doing? But we could use some help with that information. So help us out with this stuff.
The signage, I feel, if the taxpayers do not want to pay for any signage, I'm going to tell you, I think you have enough businesses and enough people in the town that would actually donate, just like they did in Madison, to cover your signage.
There's a lot of signs, or if you're opening up for 25 mile an hour,
Yeah,
ATV
Yeah, I
access
think you would
25
be-
mile, there's a lot of road.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, there's a lot of work to be done. Find out what you can help her with.
so I got a couple questions for everybody, I guess. So, first of all, I will contact the state and ask them about any insurance policies, if that's gonna be coming down the road at any time soon. Right now, it is not, but I would certainly, contact them to see if that is going to be looked at in legislature at any time. Second of all, I guess I would, look into what the cost of any signage would be, so we would have some idea what that would entail. Get together with Arnie and the club and see what we would need to put in, and get a price for that, so everybody at town meeting would be aware of what the price is. I would also probably see if people want to donate towards that, I guess. There are other, I know I can't use any grant money for signage, I've been told that multiple times, so that is not gonna happen. I guess too, if the residents decide they don't want it, I still think they're gonna have, most of this whole area here has access to it. So, I still think it would be better to be putting signage up so there's people aware of it, because they already have access to it. So I guess, is there any other things that people wanted me to look at, so I can?
Lights or some kind of a signal for the road crossings.
Yeah, that's a state thing, so that's not to do with this, that's me contacting the state, telling them I want this, this, and this. And if I have enough grant money left in there, I will see if I can get that done this year. Is there any other things, I know you've mentioned curfews, I mean, because I've got to write this up for your town meeting. So this is kind of what this meeting was for. I want everybody's input on it. So is it something that you may want to talk about, a curfew?
What are other towns doing? What is,
I have not seen any curfews.
what is Bingham doing? What is
No
Lexington
curfews.
doing? No, I don't mean just cap curfews. I mean
Yeah.
overall regulation of ATVs using their roads.
Do any of these other towns have like individual ATV committees other than this, ATV club? Because that might be an option.
It's the clubs that do it. You have a local Madison Anson ATV club,
Well, I
that's
mean,
usually.
yeah, other than that, rather than give them the full responsibility of it because they have other things that they have been doing.
I would say you would want to join that club and then it would go into that, because I don't know how to do it. They have to be, they're mandated by state laws and follow certain things. So to me, you would be better off to join their club and I guess
Maybe that should be mandatory by the
go
town,
from that.
mandated to join the club,
I do.
be on the road.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't think we can mandate that.
Well, just a suggestion,
This gentleman had a question.
because then they pay.
I just wanted, a couple of things, I wanted to say that I think signs are only as good as the guy reading it. I have signs on my property cabled, and I've had to call the game wardens because I have them on game cam going right under my cable. My question is for Tammy, they already have access like from the Madison side of the bridge over to Casey's and that. Can we just, how long has that been open? And I guess what I'm getting at is could we just watch that for a while and see what we see? Instead of opening up all these roads, there's a lot there.
It's because a lot of your residents want access to the trail.
I think what he's saying is, Danny, is that access in town here to the trail,
Well,
has been open as long as the trail's been there.
Right.
Because as soon as they put that trail in, that gave access.
Well, they just got permission for the bridge
Right,
a
but
year
the
ago,
trail,
right?
the trail started at Casey's before the
Right.
bridge,
Yeah,
so.
But they just-
From Casey's
Excuse me.
store, basically,
yeah.
in a radius around that, I think it's 1,500 feet
Yeah.
from the
But
trail.
yeah, then like you're,
That's
for
been-
trail to trail, you're allowed 1,500
Right.
feet on the road, right?
That has been open as long as the trail's been open.
Right.
Which has been
Way
over a year
Yeah.
or
So it's
more.
been a year, and we haven't had
It's been actually
problems.
more, it's been over 2 years, because we opened on this side before Madison ever opened this year. So this side has actually been open before Madison ever did. It's
Okay.
actually been 2 years on this side and 1 year for Madison.
And there haven't been problems or accidents or nothing there. I just see a lot of miles of road here, and I'm wondering if maybe we did a smaller
Honestly,
section and
The only
see
accidents
what
we
we
really
see.
have are some of the younger townspeople or the ones in their 20s or something are get drinking on a Friday and Saturday night here,
Yeah.
hold my beer and watch this, and we pick them up on the side of the road here, on the campground road or the horseback road or whatever. Most generally, it's the people that actually join clubs and stuff that are club members, I don't think we've picked anybody up here since the trail's been open.
We did have one accident in front of Casey's, they were crossing. It was
That's right,
somebody-
yep, that one there.
That was the only one I know of. That's it.
Proceed with caution, I think is,
Right?
Extreme caution.
There again,
you know,
that's the
it's
reason.
not
for
rush
it.
into this, maybe cut these miles down, maybe pick one area and watch that.
But whose area do you pick?
Right.
Just
that's-
one not near my house.
I just want, as part of.
I concur.
Thank you, thank you.
What might be done is that perhaps the
And I'm on the road killed flats.
could also be responsible for some education and perhaps report on a regular basis to the town, to a town meeting, on like the amount of usage and how they're doing, and what kind of problems they've seen and what they are trying to do to mitigate problems that occur that may affect other people, and to get feedback, so there's a lot of communication back and forth from those who are doing that and for those who are affected by it, which we all are because we're taxpayers and, you know, we're also using that. So I think that's, you know, this, I'm very concerned, you know, I see kids who are not 18 on four-wheelers.
No, so.
Yeah, imagine, no, I've got this incredible vision, no, yeah, but it's, no, so that's, there is that, and, so it has to involve the kids, and it involves their parents, it involves the ATV who want this to work well for the benefit of a whole lot of other people. But you have to sort of recognize what the problem might be and then how to go after it. I think, you know, you were saying things I think are related to that idea of how do you communicate. And so communication and education are two things that are going to be very important. And the fact that if they're speeding down a dirt path, road, whatever, and there's property right near that, that they need to recognize that it has an effect on the people around them, and then maybe that, if it, you know, like it's highly, you know, in areas where there's a lot of buildings, cars have to slow down. Well, if there's a lot of buildings along a trail, then the ATVs ought to slow down too, for that reason. So I mean, I think it's an education and communication and a consideration of who are the stakeholders in all of this.
So this will come to the March town meeting. So sometime before that, we'll have a public hearing. This is going to be an ordinance. And we're required to have, once we put the ordinance together, we're required to have a public hearing. So we will meet again once, you know, we get the final ordinance put together, and there'll be chance to comment on it. So probably sometime in February or late January, we'll have something put together.
And I just wanted to make a comment off on Ellen's. I understand that you might see this kid running here or this kid maybe going too fast here. I've actually also seen, because I live over by Casey's and I ride up that road daily, one of months. It's incredible to see the families in their side-by-sides outside eating sandwiches and everything, and their kids aren't inside playing video games. They're outside riding in an ATV going down a trail. To me, I was growing up in the outdoors. I mean, my dad took me rabbit hunting and everything else, and I was outside from the time my mother told me to go outside till like 10 minutes supper. And kids don't do that anymore, so it is a double-edged sword. If you're getting them out there and the families are going out there and doing it, they're not actually inside watching TV all day either.
No,
They're actually outside being, yes.
Tammy, I just wanted to say, when you were wrapping up the things, all the
Oh, yes.
concerns.
Yeah.
And just wanted to remind that we also talked about more budgeting for the dust control and
Yes.
things like that, out on those back roads out by our house and the town farm road, all of that.
Absolutely, I think if it does turn out to be something that we decide to do, I think the funding should be in place so that Artie can take up that extra responsibility to be able to do what needs to be done to, you know, the shoulders are gonna wear out, the dust, there's different things like that. But beyond signage, it's gonna be an expense. He ought to be provided with what he needs to, so that his hands aren't tied.
And I do agree with you there, Chris, but you gotta have like a pilot program, because we could say right now, we're gonna have to grade roads 4 more times a year and put out another 4,500 gallons of flow mag. And it might be, once we put more flow mag on and grade them like we do, they're gonna be fine, no more traffic we have.
So you may wanna throw out a number and say, hey, you guys, if you do this, keep in mind, I'm gonna need another $10,000, I'm gonna need
Yeah.
another, whatever.
Go high, Artie, go high.
Well, I would like to say that I appreciate all the efforts to control the dust, because I live right beside the trail. And my biggest problem is, they stop with the stop sign, go across the road. Once they get across the road, they gotta lay it out flat up, as fast as they can go and as loud as they can go. Especially kids on dirt bikes. I mean, I'm pretty deaf, but when I can't even talk to my wife in the house when they go by, open those engines up. And it isn't just kids, there's some of the gray-headed folks out there that do the same thing. One guy, I saw him about 2 weeks ago, he went through the loudest four-wheeler I've ever heard. He must not have had a muffler on it, and he was going flat, and the dust just rolled everywhere.
I was gonna say, you can't hear my mouth. Well, maybe you can, I don't know.
I can.
So if everybody's all set, thank you all for coming.
Thank you, very good
A lot of
meeting.
information.
Very good.
You ready?
They're right there, coming down.
Okay, we'll move on to the.
I'll be there to take a look at it and see, and then, we're gonna list this stuff.
Still gathering stuff for.
We'll get on it.
Okay,
I don't think we've gotten the smoke detectors yet, that's all set up, those all recorded.
Cemeteries.
The guys and girls had, the dumpster that Tammy had brought up to the North Station, they got together on Sunday morning, did a good clean out. I talked to Gary's gone, but I guess they hold out quite a bit. I guess there's only just a few stuff in a couple filing cabinets, they did a good clean out, so it comes time for moving stuff over to the new station. We ain't got a whole lot of stuff that's gotta go over, be carried across, other than trucks and equipment and all that good stuff, so. Otherwise than that, I'm not gonna say the Q word, but colder season's coming, so it's just an inevitable time for things to start happening. I talked to Tammy earlier, I believe she's gonna touch on it. I think Peter's supposed to be at the North Station possibly tomorrow to start hooking up the water lines and stuff on that, so. Otherwise than that, and nothing else. I don't know, I was talking about you guys doing a clean out on Sunday, I don't know if Carol was there or not.
Yeah.
Any questions for the chief?
Yeah, Stacy, on the board there, the station 82 is leaking antifreeze or something?
Yeah, they keep finding leaks on it every now and again after each run, they try to go in and,
It's still under warranty, right, and stuff, so.
yeah, but we talked to Northeast about a couple of them, and they're like, if you can find it, try to do a couple turns on a clamp. Because otherwise than that,
That's it?
well, pretty much, I mean, it's, either have to ship back out and, or take it someplace and have it sit down there while they try to tear everything all apart on it, and we're out of the truck for a good length of time.
Maybe it just needs to be run.
Needs to be run? Okay, we'll run it. We'll run this.
I think Lance tightened up a couple of them, and I think Jeremy got one under, on one other one, tightened up the clamp. We talked to Scotty down at Northeast, and they're like, that's just the nature of the truck when it's brand new. All the massive vibration, heating up, cooling off.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
And I think 81's over at Jericho right now, to have the jack that lifts up the cab on it has been leaking a lot of fluid on the floor, so I told the boys to get the road there and get it taken care of, because I was tired of seeing it all swelled on the concrete, so. That's a safety hazard, if they get the cab up in the air, even though it's got a safety device on it, I don't want the cab to come down on them, so.
Thank you.
Artie?
So putting up the winter sand, we got just about half done now. Should be done by the end of next week. Cut a couple big trees down up in North Anson yesterday, took care of that. Shipped the grader I did down back to John Deere to get the wing towers put on it, so I can get the wing mounted up on it. That should be back by the end of the week, first of next week. Gravel roads are all in pretty decent shape. I got one or two that I got, when it gets back, I'll grade them just before it freezes. Other than that, the pump station 3, that's still not up and going. It's going, but not up the way it's supposed to be. The Vortec give us a price on what it's going to be to have them come over and camera that line and clean it. Tammy and I, we signed that and sent that back in. So they're going to get us on the schedule now. She thought by middle, end of November, they should be able to get it done. They're booked out for 6 weeks right now. This coming Thursday, we're going to do the pump stations, clean all them, vacuum out the wet cans. Other than that, I think everything's pretty good. We did get the grant on for the load cover, so the other wheel is going to get a load cover put on it.
Any questions for the tonight? Thank you. Amy?
Oh my God, it's been really busy with absentee voting. Crazy busy with absentee voting. So I had to set up 2 voting booths in the town office, even though I can set people 4 at a table, 3 in my office and 2 voting booths, and they're just going around. So it's kind of amazing that people want to stand in line to absentee vote, or don't want to stand in line. A little confusing, but it's going good. It's good to see turnout. People don't understand when they spoil a ballot, they need to bring me back the ballot. So I have had a few disgruntled people. I cannot issue them another ballot until they bring me back another one and I spoil it. So I have had a few people not happy with that. We did have trees cut. I did get a call from the state on it, thinking that we cut trees on someone else's property, and that is not true. So, and the tree did come down, one of them had come down in the last storm and took power on that road. So there was a reason why the trees were cut, and we are fine with it, but just to let you know, I did get a call on that. I did apply for the election grant. I got a $5,000 election grant. I actually, if anybody's been in the town office, you can see the carpet and everything is all wrapped, pretty much, I guess. And that is our way for any handicap accessible to come in through the election. So I got them qualified to replace that.
All right.
So that is good. So that is coming from that grant also. I haven't finished the generator grants yet, but I'm waiting for the prices, Stacy. So I can finish that.
Bob should have that email over here for getting that $100 checked out.
I am asking for the town office to be closed on October 30th from 9 to noon. I need to take an election training. Well, staff needs to take the election training. Ballot clerks, if they can be here for the election training. It's going to be for any violence or anything that can happen at the polls. And they want everybody to be aware of it and know what protocol is. So if they can't be there, then I will have to train them at that point. But I am asking if they can be, to please come in. It's by Zoom, and it's 9 to 12 on the 30th.
Yeah, what day is it?
It's Wednesday. I'm also asking that the town office not be open on election day for transactions. There is no way the staff can keep up with registering people and processing the polls. The amount of absentee ballots that I have to process through the polls alone is gonna be an all-day thing for me. And I will have 2 or 3 girls out there registering, plus my ballot clerks out there for the polls. So just trying to do B&B and stuff is too much. I wasn't open last presidential, but it just makes it too hectic trying to do those transactions like that.
So, if we open at noon on the 30th?
Yeah, but I will stay open for absentee voting the whole time.
On the 30th?
On the 30th. I just won't be open for B&B from 9 to noon.
And closed on the 5th?
For transactions, right? Yep.
Well, set to that?
Leaf pickup will be the first week in November. People are calling like crazy. I have told them the leaves aren't on the ground yet. That's why they're not doing it. The first week of November. I seem to have a lot
I
of...
think you discriminate.
Live in town.
There's a lot of people that seem to be living in campers.
What?
No.
And so I'm gonna recommend maybe doing a camper ordinance. Someone has one and there's a few other towns that have one. Just so your code enforcement has a little more teeth to it. Suggestions? No? It's becoming more and more frequent. And if you get squatters that pull a camper onto a lot, I need to be able to have something, a recourse on it.
Can you see their ordinances?
Yep. Yep. There is a new website for dogs that the state put into place, and they did not think what they were doing in the time they were doing it. It does not tie into Trio for cash receiving. It does not have any of the dogs in their website. It does not allow you to put their babies into their website. We need to build our town into their website, so Madison is going to be doing a lot of data entry. And of course, dogs are coming due now. I will tell you, the clerks in the state are gone ballistic because it's a major election, and they just expect everybody to be able to do this. So they've actually waived it till January 31st for us to be able to get all our dogs into that system. And they're not sure how you're going to report the money. So right now, I've instructed our staff to keep doing it in trio. So everything is reported and is reported to the state like it has been. And then we will put everything into their database at that point. But just to let you know, that is gonna be an undertaking, and their website is not user-friendly at all to even be able to put the dogs in. You can put a dog in, but you can't attach it to the owner.
Good as that.
Thank you. It is. And if the dog has the same name,
You might forget that.
if Brutus belongs to Jim Smith and Brutus belongs to you, Brutus may end
It's
up
his
on
fault.
your name. So they really did not plan this all the way through.
It's his fault.
It's my Brutus.
Just to let you know that's going on. We haven't received the money from FEMA yet for the Madison and Street culvert, but the state did send me the paperwork to sign off on the state piece, which tells me FEMA's obligated it and now the state's obligated it, so now I'm just waiting for it to get into the account. But I was impressed that the state actually sent it back quick, because they're usually a little behind on it too. I was talking to Matt about the Text My Gov proposal. So for me to put it in next year's budget, it's gonna be $5,250 for the first year. Then next following years after that, it would be $3,750, which I'm okay with that, and it does let us put the mass text out. What I was a little concerned about is only 25,000 text messages per year, which sounds like a lot, 25,000, but probably really not, because if I send one text message out and my text message reaches, just say 500 people, that's 500 gone with one message. So, I'm gonna have Matt take a look and see if he sees anything different that we can do, or I can buy more, but to buy more, of course, it costs me money. So, and I know we were trying to put this into the budget, so I'm just looking at it and see if there's any other options that we might be able to do. It is a good program from what I see. I just, and it does lock you into a 3-year term.
Is that the one Madison uses?
It is.
Could we ask them how many?
I did. They only are doing it, at a small level. They didn't. And I haven't had it very long, so I don't know how many messages they have right now, but I guess I can, let me talk to them again to see where they're sitting right now, and go from there, but I do want to have that together for you guys for the budget. I met Randy Butler up to the new fire station, for the final punch list. Bowman was back up there, did do some work. Didn't do everything that was on the list. So I went over the list again with him, and he actually took pictures of what else I pointed out that I didn't think they did on the list, and is contacting them, and they should be back up there to finish what they need to finish. The entrance, I sent, I think it was Jeremy, the entrance. Okay, so we filled out the application, highway opening application, to have the entrance be wider than the 42 that the state approved. They did say then can file the waiver. They then came back to me saying, after reviewing the highway opening permit application for the North Anson Fire Station driveway entrance, we are willing to waive the maximum entrance width to no greater than 70 with the following requirements. The existing entrance in the front of the old station will be closed off and with curbing and sidewalk. The ADA crosswalk will be moved to the end of the new sidewalk near CMP pole number 3 and the Center Street intersection. The AD intricate domes will be moved to the new crosswalk location, and the existing ADA ramp on the opposite side of 201 will be closed off from the curb and pavement. And he said he'd be willing to meet up there to discuss anything. I have not, I told him we're gonna be meeting and you guys would be discussing it, to let me know what you guys wanna do from there. Arnie did get a price, where was that price, isn't it 14,000?
14,400 or 600.
To do those things that they're requiring.
That's in addition to.
Right. So I guess I would need direction on what you want me to do. My main question is, of course, that's not gonna get done before winter, and I have not contacted Ms. Tony yet to see if if we can request it to be there, and they let us do it in the spring, and everything's okay with it. I have not had that conversation yet, because I wasn't sure what you guys, I didn't wanna have a whole conversation and you haven't approved me spending $14,000 to do so. So I guess you guys need to decide what you're doing with that. That's definitely not in the budget, so.
But we don't have any money left
No, I'm not done yet, so I don't dare tell you any money from the grant, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have some concerns over what they are making us do, only for the future of, we have no layout of what the parking's gonna be. There will be no parking in front of the fire station, so we're gonna have access to get to the parking. It doesn't need to be 70 feet wide, but the other area, I'm assuming, is going to have some kind of parking. I mean, there needs to be a lot more done here for what it's gonna look like outside the building. We went and built the building and never did any groundwork with the committee. I mean, once the building was there, this is what we're doing, and nobody looked ahead into, I asked several times, what's the outside gonna look like?
I guess I don't know where you guys want your parking lot, I don't.
Yeah, because we wasn't gonna sure if it was, because we knew we were going to the station, and then they kind of.
Well, and you guys were the ones deciding if you wanted it facing this way or this way, or,
Right.
I mean, you guys
And
had
now
multiple
they
meetings
want
with the
to
board
sidewalk,
on
we tear
that.
the old station down, they want a continuous sidewalk that goes right over across, I just don't think that's gonna be.
If it's a parking area or turned into a parking area, does that sidewalk still have to be closed into a sidewalk?
Yep.
Or-
Yes, because you're gonna have an entrance to go in, so even if your parking's over here, they're gonna say you're gonna enter in front of that building and come over and park,
I think we need,
is what I'm
And
assuming.
then there's
we
a power
need some
pole.
kind of
And there's
design.
a power source right in the middle of the whole,
Yeah,
the whole
Yeah.
thing, how I never even knew why that even got put there, so.
What power source?
the one for the Christmas tree?
Oh, that has nothing to do with me.
That was actually put there,
Yeah,
I believe.
Well, that can come out,
Yeah.
needs to come out.
that wasn't that
So,
way.
give us something to go by, give us some proposals for the parking lot. I mean, I
Depends, I
don't,
guess it depends on how
like,
big.
unless I see it on paper, I mean, there's nothing for
Some
me to
people were good
approve.
with the 42 and now they want it more than that, so I guess we're gonna make a decision on, because you sent pictures of them backing the trucks in and out.
All right, and I have not called him back because I was not sure. First of all, if they approve it without us doing any of it. And of course, it's not gonna be done this year, so I didn't wanna get into a conversation with them saying, we're gonna promise to do this, and then we're not doing this. So,
As far as the sidewalks go and that, if it was me, I'd go with the 42-foot entrance, because it isn't even cut out yet. So if people drive by and think that's what they got for an entrance, that ain't what they got for an entrance. The entrance is there, is not what you're gonna have. It's actually 42 feet, then you got a 6-foot for a taper. So that's all gonna come out just as soon as Peters are done up there. And I'd wait until they figure out what they're gonna do with the parking area and then put it all together. Because you're gonna get a better deal if you put a parking area in there plus the sidewalk versus just the sidewalk. Because there's more mix going out, so it's gonna be cheaper for the contractor that they can do it. So if it was me, I'd go with a
Give me something to scale.
42-foot entrance at has already been approved, and the 6-foot taper, so it's actually gonna be 48 feet, because they wanted me to take pictures of the fire truck backing in, so Lance come out of the old fire station and cut it, went over and turned to the Hot Top Road, stopped behind the curb that's there now, cut it around hard and backed up. And all he had to do was pull ahead to the curb line and he could back right straight in. So if it had been a 42-foot entrance, he could have pulled in and backed all the way into the fire station without going up the road.
In all 3 doors?
So, my thought is, let's get some pictures of what, if both of those, the 42 and the 70, and also what you, beyond that, or whatever, beyond that, what you'd like to see, and can it be for the next meeting? I mean, we gotta move on it, right?
They're just gonna wanna know to approve the entrance.
I can't give you an approval because I can't see it in my head, I don't have a piece of paper in front of me. I mean, why are they requiring this and not this, and why do you guys want this and not this? I mean, how do I approve something when I don't have any information on it? I don't know at all.
Who wants to change it? Who wants to change it?
The people who work out of the North Station and drive at 3 o'clock in the morning and try backing in a truck and pulling out of a truck and with the traffic and everything.
There again, let's see some pictures, let's see some, let's stop the conversation, see some pictures and let's approve it, talk about it again next meeting. Because there's no point in talking about it, because I'm not gonna approve anything tonight. So, let's see some pictures.
Where the Methodist church parking lot is any of that over here?
That would still be all open by the church, right?
Yeah, and actually the town owns all the way over to the whole section of
Where it's paved, right?
So
a
that
little,
would be.
little
closed.
sidewalk in the middle of the church parking lot.
Right.
The town line is all the way over there, so that can be an entrance to the north side of the fire station. They can go in and out of that, because that's town property.
So how hard would it be to take a picture, lay it out, like this old fire station down, and just see what you have for measurements?
Right,
Yeah, and give something to scale on a drawing or something, so that we can see what's going on, because I don't, nothing I understand at the moment, and I understand you guys do, but for me to approve anything, I can't without seeing something.
So is that power source gonna be moved this year, or what?
That's up to the firefighters, if they say they don't
I'm
want
not
it,
even sure
then.
how the power source got in there.
No, I don't understand either, so.
Well, we need to get past that, get it out of it.
And get it out of it.
At the old station, right?
So they're coming back, right?
You know, where the Christmas tree
Did
is,
they-
that
Well,
pole
they're
sets in the
coming
house.
back to do a punch list, they're probably not coming back to remove that.
So who only moves it?
That should
That's
have
where we're gonna build it.
Get that out.
But, so get it out of it.
I don't even know whose idea it was to even put it there.
They're gonna have my bet is they're gonna charge you because they were told to put it in.
Well,
We can take it out.
we'll tell you what.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's easy enough.
Well, I'm just saying, you want me to go get Bowman to take it out, they're gonna give you a bill because they were told to put it in.
Peters is gonna dig right through there in the next 24 hours. It can come out.
There you go.
So we're talking about this power pole? Or the flag?
No, no,
That's a pressure treated thing that sticks up out of the ground.
On the other side of that.
there's just a little 4x4 post sticking up out of
And
there.
have you guys talked about your flagpole, because when they get ready to tear the building down,
Does it right back here?
where is that, where's it going?
I would like to have it back if it doesn't go up,
Mhm.
the pole.
I would think they'd want another flagpole. I
Well,
mean,
there's been discussion, they wanna put it on the building, not put the pole up.
Oh,
This
this is what I'm
I just, if
asking.
it doesn't get used there, I would like to
ain't
have
heard
it,
happen, so.
because I got it.
Go ahead. I'm just asking
Yeah,
what's going
I-
on with it, because I can't make plans,
We've been-
I don't know.
We really need to have the committee back that was once,
Well, the committee was, I don't know what the whole committee was, but as far as you guys, when you're meeting, I mean, I'm assuming you guys would be discussing, it shouldn't just have to be a committee, it should be people, your fire department discussing what you want, like with the flagpole, or,
I don't.
I'm asking you guys for
I don't know
guidance.
if I know if I know they discussed discussed in the meeting about a new flagpole because Darren Priest approached me. He wanted to build us, the North Station, a new flagpole and try to place a fire helmet on top of it and dedicate it to somebody on the fire department in the past. And I said, I'll bring it to the guys and girls at a meeting and go from there. And I threw it out there and nothing really became of it. But I personally was gonna use the old flagpole that was there and put it up against the building somewhere.
So when's your next meeting?
We just had, well, we didn't really have much of a meeting this past month, but ours was the second Monday of next month. Because everybody was out hunting.
So, I'm assuming you guys will discuss that stuff, I guess, I don't know.
I will bring it up. I will be there. I say that, all depends.
So we can make something by the next meeting?
Yeah, that,
Yeah, for the.
That-
I'll do my best. I'm having surgery on the 31st, so I can,
Oh, come
stick
on.
somebody else.
So what else did you get to do while you're laying there?
Jesus, some pictures of this.
Is there any,
Don't worry, my wife wants to slap me once in a while too.
is there anything else for the fire station that you guys need me to do? I've contacted Spectrum, they should be coming up, we signed the contract.
Is that belt wire gonna be moved from the side of the building? The siren belt, you know, the siren?
Mhm.
Is that wire gonna be moved from the side of the building where the snow can hit it to the end of the building? Because that was on the punch list.
list too.
The electrical pole out front was too.
You mean the one for the tree?
Jared, the one that Jeremy put on his punch list, the, oh, yeah, by the pole, the,
Christmas tree?
yeah. That thing.
The what? I didn't see no hole in front of that.
The electrical box is what I'm talking about. That was on the punch list too.
I didn't see it, but okay. And that electrical box is supposed to be moved where?
Take it out.
Just take it out. It's,
But that's something we were gonna, or somebody was gonna do.
In the new building.
yeah. Well, it's the one that comes out in the middle of the driveway.
Right.
It's straight in the way. It's not gonna last
Oh, that?
plowing through the snow.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought she was talking about.
Yeah, that'll be gone the
Yeah,
first
that-
snowstorm.
I thought she was talking about something else.
The electrical for the Christmas tree.
Okay, that's already it.
Got it.
Okay.
Yes.
And the only other thing that we talked about, Tammy, was the electrical rails.
Yep, I, got into quite a conversation with them about that, so. They said that if you had a spare one, they could certainly, I could get it over to them and they could put that one up. But I told them that yours didn't have the right plug-in to it.
Theirs didn't have the right plug.
Right, that's what I mean, so, I thought they should put new ones in, so we're having that conversation right now.
Because not, we got one down here at the south station that's not being used.
But I don't think the town should have to pay to put those other ones in, when the new ones that are in there are not what you wanted to begin
Yeah.
with.
And
Right, am I saying that?
Yeah, I would have thought they would have asked, say, hey, gee, what's the plug-in look like?
I said that to them
Right.
today, so we're having that conversation right now. But if you can get me the spare one, just in case.
Are you all set? Any questions? Hold on.
You tired, Jim?
Number 5 is a sewer commitment.
Oh my God.
So it's,
I'll have you sign it tomorrow. I didn't print it. I'm sorry.
Number 6 is selectmen concerns. Seeing none. Number 7.
Wait, sorry. I'm
Too late.
sorry.
Too late.
Storm damage, storm damage. Some of the trees that were cut off are still sticking out quite a ways towards the road. Nothing in the road, but there's still a number of them sticking out.
Right now, winter sand is top on my priority,
Correct.
because the
How
mountains are
about
getting
the one that's
white.
almost falling down in the road
Which one?
on the house back? It's on, as you're going up, it's on the
On the
right-hand side.
on the right-hand side, it's
On the
still,
right-hand side, just before the big
big
ponds.
pond, it's
is
still
when
live, and
It's
that's
still live,
coming
and it's
down.
coming down in the first snowstorm.
Well, it's coming down as soon as I get, when the sand put up and
But
get the
there's,
leaves
there's,
picked up.
there's a number of roads I've been on.
Yeah.
Some of the storm damage is still, and there again, it's not in the road, but I know you're gonna hit it, and you probably know them all anyway, so, with the plow and stuff.
Yeah.
So, okay, I just wanted to.
No, this, like I said, we're in the sand right now, and
Yeah.
as soon as that's done, then we're gonna start, we gotta get the leaves picked up and then start getting the brush from the storms.
I'm done.
Public session.
Did you guys have any thoughts, more thoughts on plowing the sidewalks and roads up in North Anson?
No more bids.
Do we get any more bids?
No, no. Oh, I didn't know. No.
I guess it goes on to the next meeting.
Hopefully we don't get a storm before that.
Sorry.
All set? Number 8,
Make a motion to adjourn.
moved and seconded, all those in favor? 5-0, we adjourn.
Hey, Red Bull.